It was the hottest Saturday of the year in Enugu. The sun burned like it was angry. The air was dry. The ground was cracking. Even the mangoes refused to fall from their trees. But at the edge of Ogene Crescent, beside the gate of one of the biggest mansions in the area, sat an old woman, barefoot, with a small black nylon beside her. Her wrapper was faded. Her scarf was torn. Her legs were dusty. And her face looked like someone who had lost everything. People passed her. Some hissed. Some whispered, "Is not these beggars that disgraces old age?" Children threw stones at her. One even called her witch. But the woman just sat there, quiet, eyes closed, back straight, like she was waiting for something. That mansion she sat in front of? It belonged to Chief Donatus Nweke, one of the richest men in Enugu. But this story is not about Chief Donatus. It's about his mother, Mama Esther, and the young maid who changed her life. 3 days before that Saturday, Mama Esther stepped down from a tinted Prado Jeep in the middle of Enugu market, without telling anybody who she was. She removed her jewelry, tied an old scarf on her head, changed her wrapper. She sent her driver away and said, "Go back to the house. Don't tell my son where I am." The driver looked confused. "Madam, I don't understand." She smiled. "You don't need to. Just go. I want to see something with my own eyes." And so, the mother of one of the richest men in Nigeria became a homeless woman. In disguise. Why? Because she was tired of the fake love. Tired of the forced smiles from people who only respected her money. She wanted to know if good people still existed. She wanted to know, if I sit by the road like someone with nothing, will anyone treat me with kindness? She didn't expect much. But she wasn't ready for what was coming. Because in that mansion, her son's own house, lived a girl. A young maid. With cracked palms and a tired smile. Her name was Joy. And Joy had something money could not buy. Joy was 19. She came from a small village in Ebonyi State. Her father was a farmer. Her mother sold okpa. But after her mother fell sick, Joy dropped out of school to work. She begged one of her aunties in Enugu to help her find work. The auntie brought her to Chief Donatus's mansion. She had been working there for 11 months, cleaning floors, washing cars, mopping staircases, scrubbing toilets. From morning to night. She didn't complain. Even when Madame Juliet, the chief's second wife, shouted at her for small things. Even when the other maids laughed at her village accent. Joy remained Joy. Quiet, focused, and respectful. That Friday morning, as she was washing the veranda, she looked outside the gate and saw the old woman again, sitting under the mango tree, in the same faded wrapper, with the same black nylon. Joy watched her for a moment. Then she dropped her rag, went inside, took 1 cup of garri and the remaining groundnut she had hidden in nylon. She sneaked out through the side gate, walked slowly toward the old woman. "Good morning, Mama." The old woman didn't answer. Her eyes were closed. Joy bent beside her and placed the cup of garri and the groundnut on the ground. "I don't have much, but you can soak this. It'll help you hold stomach small." The old woman opened her eyes. Her gaze was deep, wise, sad. She looked at Joy, looked at the food, looked back at Joy. Then, she smiled. That one act changed everything. Because Mama Esther, the billionaire's mother, had been watching everyone for 3 days. Not one person had given her water. Not one person had asked if she was okay. Until Joy. After that day, Joy thought nothing of it. She didn't know the old woman's real identity. She just did what her mother taught her. If you see persons suffer, help them. No matter how small. But from that morning on, Mama Esther's eyes followed her. The next day, Joy was cleaning the front gate when she saw the old woman again. This time, she brought a small stainless cup of warm water in a tray. She placed it gently beside the old woman and whispered, "Mama, the sun is too hot today. Please drink water, even if it's small." Again, the woman smiled. But this time she spoke. "What's your name, my daughter?" "Joy, Mama." She nodded. "God will reward you, Joy." Joy smiled, not knowing the weight of that statement. Inside the compound, Madame Juliet had started watching Joy closely. She didn't like how Joy was always cheerful, always respectful, always working, but never complaining. To Madame Juliet, such a girl was dangerous. She believed any maid that looked too humble had a plan. That evening, in the kitchen, she whispered to the cook, "That small girl, Joy. I don't trust her. She's always forming innocent. Watch her well." The cook nodded. "Yes, Ma." Meanwhile, Joy continued doing what she always did. She didn't know people were watching her, or that the beggar woman by the gate had already called her son from a hidden number and said, "Donatus, listen to me. I'm outside your gate. In disguise." "Mummy? What are you talking about? Where are you?" "I'm fine. Just listen. I've seen enough. There's one girl in your house, a maid. Her name is Joy. Watch her closely. That girl has something no money can buy." Chief Donatus was confused. His mother had always been wise. But now, she sounded like she had a mission. Still, he obeyed. He asked the CCTV team to send him footage from the last 3 days. And what he saw made him pause. Joy, without knowing she was being watched, had given food, water, and shade to a beggar outside their gate. More than once. He called his personal assistant. "Bring me that girl's file. I want to know who she is, where she's from, and why nobody has noticed her till now." The next day, Mama Esther didn't sit at the gate. She sat at the junction, under the big almond tree. When Joy passed with a tray of pure water to deliver to the kitchen, she saw her there, sweating, dust on her face. She paused. Something in her spirit told her to act. She crossed the road and knelt beside the old woman. "Mama, are you sick? Should I take you to chemist?" The woman chuckled softly. "No. Just tired of pretending." Joy blinked. The woman stared at her. "My daughter, if I told you I was not poor, would you treat me differently?" Joy laughed gently. "Mama, poor or rich, if you sit under hot sun and you're old enough to be my grandmother, I go help you." That was it. That was the answer Mama Esther was searching for. She picked up her bag and stood up slowly. For the first time in 1 week, she walked away, not like a beggar, but like a queen in disguise. That same evening, just before sunset, Joy was in the kitchen helping to clean up after Madame Juliet's party. She was scrubbing the tiles quietly when one of the security guards walked in. "Joy, ogre one see you." She looked up, confused. Which ogre? Chief Donatus. Himself. Joy's heart skipped. She wiped her hands quickly and followed the guard, wondering what she had done wrong. She entered the living room slowly. There sat Chief Donatus, in his crisp white kaftan, sipping from a glass of palm wine. But what shocked her most, sitting beside him, dressed in lace, gelly tied beautifully, with fresh gold earrings shining in her ears, was the same woman she had been feeding by the gate. "Mama." Joy's voice shook. Chief Donatus smiled. "Joy, meet my mother, Madame Esther Week. The woman you've been giving garri and water to for the past 4 days." Joy dropped to her knees immediately. "Ah. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to." "Shhhh," Mama Esther interrupted gently, rising from her seat and walking toward her. She knelt beside Joy and held her hands. "You didn't do anything wrong, my daughter. In fact, you're the only one who did the right thing." Chief Donatus stood up. "Joy, my mother left this mansion in disguise to test the hearts of people. She wanted to see if any good soul still existed without being bribed by wealth. He walked slowly around the room, his voice rising like a man making a speech. We've had many workers here. Some even tried to steal. Others fake humility when they see money. But you saw an old woman on the road and didn't turn away. Because of that. He paused. Joy was still kneeling, tears in her eyes. From today, you are no longer a maid in this house. Joy gasped. You will be enrolled in school. Fully sponsored. Your accommodation, feeding, everything, covered. And when you're ready to start a business, I will fund it. Joy burst into tears. She tried to speak, but words refused to come out. Mama Esther smiled and said softly, My daughter, I told you that God would reward you. That night, the other maids couldn't sleep. Joy's room was empty. They whispered and gossiped. Can you imagine? No beggar she day feed o. See 'em now, they say na scholarship. That girl used something. No be normal I. Madame Juliet was furious. She called her husband, but Chief Donatus didn't pick her calls. She went to Mama Esther's room, but was told, Madam is sleeping. Come back tomorrow. Nobody knew what to do. Because a maid had just become a millionaire in training. By simply being kind. 3 weeks later, a Prado jeep stopped in front of a small mud house in a Fikpo, Ebonyi state. An old woman stepped out and fainted from shock. Joy. Is that you? It was her mother. Behind Joy were 2 bodyguards and a smiling Mama Esther. Joy ran and hugged her mother tightly. Mama, God has done it oh. I told you. Kindness is never wasted. They both wept. Inside the car was a big bag of rice, a full envelope of money, and a letter from Chief Donatus. To the mother of Joy, the girl with the heart of gold. May your home never know sorrow again. 5 years passed. Joy was no longer a housemaid. She had graduated with first-class honors in business administration from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. She now ran a successful agro-processing company in Port Harcourt, employing over 60 people, including young girls from poor homes. She called it the Joy Initiative. Her motto, kindness is never wasted. Mama Esther had become like a second mother to her. Chief Donatus treated her like a daughter. She traveled, spoke at events, and even appeared on NTA News once. But despite her success, Joy remained humble. She still washed her own clothes, still visited the village, still gave to beggars without cameras watching. One morning, her secretary rushed in. Madam, there's one woman outside. She's been begging to see you since 6 a.m. She says, her name is Stella. She used to be your co-worker when you were a maid. Joy paused. That name. Stella. She remembered. Stella was one of the maids who laughed at her back then. The one who once poured water near her bucket just to make her wash the compound twice. Joy looked at her calendar. She had 3 meetings that morning. But she said calmly, let her in. Stella walked in. She looked nothing like before. Thin. Ashy lips. Her wrapper looked like it had been rinsed too many times. She knelt immediately and burst into tears. Joy, please, forgive me. I know I mocked you. I know I said things. Life has dealt with me. She continued, choking through her words. My husband left. My child is sick. I've not eaten since yesterday. I don't have anybody. Joy looked at her. Silent. Calm. Then stood up and walked around her desk. She held Stella's hand and said, I once gave garri to someone who changed my life. I won't stop now. She gave Stella food, gave her clothes, gave her a job as a cleaner in the office, and promised to help with her child's hospital bills. Her staff were shocked. One asked later, Madam, why did you help her after how she treated you? Joy replied, because helping someone is not a reward for good behavior. It's a reflection of who you are. One quiet evening, Joy sat with Mama Esther on the balcony. The sun was setting over Port Harcourt. Birds were flying home. Joy turned to Mama Esther and asked, "Mama, why did you really come out in disguise that year?" The old woman smiled. "Because I wanted to know if love still exists without money, if kindness still lives in Nigeria. And you proved that it does."